Welcome. Every year, the powers that be throw a big festival for Moogles and Moogle friends around the world. Well, almost every year. Every Moogle gathers together to make a lot of noise, show appreciation to Moogles everywhere, and get all kinds of presents. A Moogle mecca, if you will.
It's holier than Pon Kupor.
It's more festive than Kupo Christmas.
Anyway, there was no physical gathering this year, for obvious reasons, but it was live online on the internet.
Internet? Is that like Mognet?
Yes, I think so. You know the drill, except it's kind of different. Before the Moogle Treasure Trove events began, itinerant Moogles would just show up in conjunction with real-world events like the Tokyo Game Show or the 5th anniversary of Final Fantasy XIV, and they would sell a few items for Gil. The Moogle Treasure Festival is sort of a combination of the two types of event, in that it is connected to the real-world Final Fantasy XIV Fan Fest event, but you have to do content to collect tomestones to trade to the Moogles for items, just like the Treasure Trove events. Instead of little Moogles next to the applicable content, there are these FanFest symbols. You need to get irregular tomestones of pageantry this time, which are not based on any pre-existing tomestones. How can these be irregular if there are no regular ones? Anyway, as usual, items from the last event are still available if you still have tomestones left. The current items are under Irregular Tomestone Exchange, parentheses, seasonal, this time. And there is a notice on the webpage that you will only be able to exchange the pageantry tomestones during this event, which means we should expect the current items to be removed from the Moogle vendors at the end of the event on Monday, June 14th. First of all, there are no 4-player dungeons this time. Everything is 8 or more players, with a big focus on raids. Of course, we have Castrum Meridium and the Praetorium, which are the two 8-player dungeons that finish off the Realm Reborn MSQ, and are the only ones unlocked solely through the MSQ. Everything else requires some sort of side quest or quest chain to unlock. The Crystal Tower raids are back on the list, and since they are now required to advance to Heavensward, a lot more people probably have them done. If you don't, pick up the quest Legacy of Allag from the Outlandish Man in Revenant's Toll. Each part of the first leg of Alexander now gives you 2 tomestones. Unlock this by starting the quest Disarmed, available in Idleshire from Slowfix. You can begin the Shadow of Mach raids by picking up Sky Pirates in Ishgard. We round out the Heavensward content with our first trial. In order to unlock the Minstrel's Ballad Nidhogg's Rage, you will need to get through the MSQ quest Litany of Peace, and then pick up the quest Nidhogg's Rage from Alice in Revenant's Toll. Of course, she'll have you speak to the Wandering Minstrel nearby. And this is what is available to you as a trial player. Moving into Stormblood, all 4 parts of Omega Deltascape, the first leg of the Omega series, give 2 tomestones. This begins with Wedge in Rauger's Reach after you finish the Stormblood MSQ. And back again are the Return to Ivalice raids. The questline for those begins in Kugane. Now for Shadowbringers content. Find the Gossipy Dwarf in Tamra in Kalusia to start the questline for Yorha Dark Apocalypse. The first quest in the questline can actually be done a little before you complete Shadowbringers. Just take whatever quest he has when you get there. The first 4 parts of the Eden raid series, known as Eden's Gate, reward 3 tomestones each. The questline begins in the Crystarium with the Anxious Crystarium Guard, and the quest in the Middle of Nowhere. And finally, we have another trial, the Minstrel's Ballad Hades' Elegy, which can be unlocked with the Minstreling Wanderer in the Crystarium after completing the main Shadowbringer storyline. For PvP, both Frontline and Rival Wings are available. You will get 10 tomestones for first place and 6 for second or third. So, what would be the best content to grind? Well, Praetorium gives the most, but also takes the longest. I personally think Castrum Meridium is better, as it doesn't take as long and gives almost as much, Circus Tower, the second part of the Crystal Tower series, goes pretty quick for 6. Trials can be quick, but I find people tend to get testy more in trials when things don't go perfectly. You get tomestones whether you complete the content in a roulette or queue specifically. There are extra rewards associated with roulettes, and all alliance raids are now on the list, so that means there are 3 roulettes that are guaranteed to give you applicable content: the main scenario, alliance raids, and frontline. Before we get into items, how about a word from our sponsor? And by sponsor I mean some guy I found on the men's room floor. He took a personality test. Fortunately, it came back negative.
Long-faced and high-browed.
Probably from Earth.
Intellective.
See, inserting advertising makes me seem more professional already. So just like Treasure Trove events, there is a big ticket item for 100 tomestones, but it turns out this one is the first to be storable in the armoire, making this a higher priority for me than past items. And of course, you can get a stack of 10 magic prisms of job mastery for 1 tomestone. These 7 items were sold by Moogles during the itinerant Moogle events of the past, and were sometimes rewards for various community sweepstakes. If you don't have these, I would say make these a high priority, since their future availability is uncertain. The MGP Platinum card gives you 50k MGP. These cards can also be acquired by completing lines in the Wondrous Tales. We have a few items from Deep Dungeons this time. The disembodied head resonator can be purchased from Una Kotor in Quarry Mill for 10 Gelmoran pot shards. These come from Palace of the Dead. To unlock Palace of the Dead, talk to Najiro Marujiro in the Carline Canopy, and he'll send you to the South Shroud. Ballroom Etiquette Excessive Petticoats is the sweat emote. This can be purchased from the Confederate Custodian in the Ruby Sea for 10 Imperium pot shards from Heaven on High. Modern Aesthetics Garabanian Plate is a rather intricate hairstyle rarely found in silver haloed sacks from Heaven on High. This is tradable, so it may be on your market board for an arm and a leg. You can unlock Heaven on High by picking up the quest Knocking on Heaven's Door from Hamakaze in the village of Isari. And from Eureka, we have the Modern Aesthetics Form and Function hairstyle, as well as the Ballroom Etiquette Insufficient Petticoats, which is the Shiver emote. Both of these can also be sold on the market board. The 4 movements of Dancing Mad are from Omega Sigmascape. This is the second 4-part leg of the Omega Raid series. The first 3 drop from Kefka in 4.0, while the 4th can be purchased from Ashina in Rogger's Reach for 2 Sigmascape bolts, which drop in Sigmascape 1 and 2. All 4 can also be found on the market board from time to time, but expect to pay a lot. The OMG minion is a drop from Alphascape 4.0, which is the final part of the Omega series. You will need to complete the entire normal version of the Omega Raid series in order to purchase this from the Moogles. The Wind-Up Ramza minion drops at the end of the Orban Monastery. You have to complete the Return to Ivalis raids to purchase the minion. The Dwarf Rabbit comes from the Aquapolis, which is a dungeon that may show up when using a dragon skin treasure map. It's also possible to get this from Fate presents during the Skyrise celebration for the Ishgard restoration, and also rarely in a silver haloed sack from Heaven on High, and it can also be purchased from the market board. In order to find treasure maps yourself, you will need to be a level 40 gatherer and complete the quest Treasures and Tribulations from Haluna in Wineport, but you can also get treasure maps from the market board. I'm not sure if you can use them without completing that quest though. The Scalic Healing set is apparently a fan-designed set that won a contest, and then the rest of the Scalic sets were designed after it. Only the Healer set is available here, so if you want anything from the other sets, you gotta run the Drowned City of Scala dungeon, which is part of the Stormblood MSQ. The Augmented Lost Allegan tank set is another design contest winner. These can be purchased for Centrino seals from Billbot in Ralger's Reach. Centrino seals can be obtained by participating in hunts. The Blissful and Reveling Kamui fifes are available again, and the legendary Kamui from Shinryu has been added. The normal modes of all these trials are unlocked in the MSQ, then the extreme versions are unlocked by speaking to the Wandering Minstrel in Kugane. He sure gets around. These items are all crafted items, and rumor has it were also design contest winners. They're not hard to craft and don't use the most hard to find mats, but they vary. They can all be sold on the market board. I find it hilarious this broom and bucket costs more than this hardwood bunk bed. The Verdant Partition drops in the hard mode of St. Mosian's Arboretum. It may also be a prize from the Kupo of Fortune tickets or found in Fate Presents, both of which are part of the Ishgardian Restoration. You need to unlock the normal mode by getting the quest from the Techi Treasure Hunter in Dravanian Hinterlands. After you complete the normal mode, you can get the quest Secret of the Ooze from Sawney in Ralger's Reach to unlock the hard version. Like most cards, these drop from their namesakes, and you should encounter all of them on your way through the Stormblood MSQ. The Xenos card may also be obtained through an NPC duel. As you may have noticed, some of the items have requirements to unlock in order to purchase them from the Moogles. Since all of these requirements are in Stormblood content, trial players will not be able to get any of these items. Just completing the MSQ through Stormblood should unlock the 3 cards. Completing the Omega Raid series and questline will allow you to purchase the OMG minion, and completing the Return to Ivalice raids will allow you to buy Ramza. Remember, this ends on Monday, June 14th at 7:59 a.m. So why are they limiting raids like Alexander and Omega to the first 4 parts? And more importantly, why have we not seen Bahamut raids included? These have got to be the hardest raids to get a synced group for. Thank you for watching, and thanks to Backwater J and Electrininja. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Goodbye.